Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how did we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart, Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com.
Hello, listeners. It's Brittany Blackman, Junior Marketing Coordinator at SUMO Heavy. A quick note. We're in an unprecedented time, but with this comes an unprecedented amount of unity. Everyone is coming together to help, no matter what industry they're in. And now we're doing our part. If you advertise on the eCommerce Minute, we'll donate 100% of the proceeds to Slice Out Hunger. Slice Out Hunger sends pizza to healthcare workers on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic while simultaneously supporting small businesses. To get involved, drop us a note at hello@sumoheavy.com or reach out through our various social media accounts. Stay safe, stay inside, and wash your hands. We're all in this together.
It's eCommerce Minute episode 679.
In today's episode, Yelp swings and misses on Botched GoFundMe plan.
Restaurants are facing tough financial times due to the coronavirus outbreak, with several cities and states forcing the closure of their dining rooms. While restaurants can still serve takeout and delivery orders, these businesses are still struggling. Some companies tried to do their part to support these businesses. Yelp and GoFundMe, in addition to asking the public for donations, were promising to match up to $1 million placed in donations through the service and work with other companies to contribute to the matching funds over time. The donation buttons would have been automatically added to Yelp pages for a variety of businesses, including restaurants, nightlife spots, beauty parlors, and fitness centers. Tapping the donate button would redirect users to the location's GoFundMe page. Yelp emphasized that the fund is meant for local businesses, which will need to have fewer than 5 locations to be eligible. Eligible businesses would be automatically opted in to having a GoFundMe fundraiser. But if a business wanted to opt out, Yelp said they'd need to claim their fundraiser page before they could delete it. The donation button would then disappear from their Yelp listing, and any donations would be returned to the original donors. The $1 million fund was to be distributed in grants of $500 for businesses that raised at least $500 through the platform. All of this sounded great in theory, but when people started reading between the lines, they realized it was not all that it seems. Turns out that the fundraising campaigns appeared automatically with company profiles on Yelp. To get out of running the campaigns, Yelp and GoFundMe required more identification for business owners. For example, driver's license or business ID verifications. One estimate put the number of fundraisers that it had created through the program at 144,000. After a lot of pushback on social media and likely directed to Yelp and GoFundMe as well, Yelp said the two companies are now working together to create a seamless approach where businesses have to opt in rather than being signed up automatically and to opt in to use it in the first place. Consent was the key aspect of this campaign that was missing. At a time when we were seeing a huge uptick of good works and charity to help our communities get through what is not just a public health crisis, but a social and economic one, the resulting rollout made this effort feel a bit more opportunistic than altruistic. Yelp stepping in it again.
It started as a nice thing.
What is with Yelp?
And then,
I don't know what's up with these guys.
the practice is very interesting. Like, what's the point, right? Like, even like, do you ever look at Yelp reviews for restaurants?
Not anymore. No. I use it for right? Maybe if I'm somewhere I don't know where I'm at, it's like, show me what's around here. I would never take a Yelp review seriously any longer.
I don't really take any reviews seriously anymore.
That's, you know what, taking it to a step further, you're exactly right. Everybody's
because
a troll.
People who love stuff, yeah, but people who love something they're doing, or like a restaurant or a hotel or stuff like that, most of those people, like me, I don't have time to review things. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I have
true.
Better things to do.
That's true. Yeah, and you can't sit and be a food critic. I mean, who's got time for that?
I mean, I'll give you an example. Like we went for a honeymoon, right? We went to the Keys, and there's like people. There's some reviews. They're like, "Well, this is like," and we walked into this place. We're like, What are you doing?" Like, literally, one of the bad reviews was, "There's not enough counter space in the bathroom."
Yeah, and they'll give a one
Like,
star for that. It's ridiculous.
And John, you've seen the pictures of this place, right? You've seen the pictures of this place.
Yeah.
It wasn't expensive, but it was crazy. Like, it was, for the price we paid, this place was amazing. Then it just drives me nuts. It's just weird.
Well, you get the Karens of the world. It's like, they have an axe to grind and they want their voice to be heard. And what's a better place to do it than a place like Yelp or Facebook or, a crazy Amazon review where it's like you read these 1-star reviews and you even have to take everything with a grain of salt. You have to read it kind of like between it. You have to kind of squint your eyes and say, what point of view is this person coming from? Are they just like trying to get their voice heard, or do they really have an honest and thoughtful, review of what's happening here? Brittany, why don't you tell us about the incident that this is actually kind of how we saw the story roll out, and then literally right after that, we saw the pushback on social media. Why don't you tell us about this guy, Andy McMillan, and what happened with him?
So he owned a alcohol-free Portland bar, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay. But yeah, he owns. I honestly had no idea that was news, like just in the first sentence. So anyway, and so basically before he said anything, there wasn't really like widespread notices of like how kind of icky this actually was. So basically he came across that his own restaurant was involved in this and he had like no say in it. And so he kind of put it in this way. He was like, well, what if when running a fundraiser, you invalid the criteria on your insurance to be able to make a claim and like other things like that. So when these businesses are automatically opted into this GoFundMe fundraising page, they could get out of like government benefits that could be even better for them. And this guy, Andy, was just like the first guy that brought attention to that.
Yeah, it blew up shortly after that. I think he took his tweet down, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because I couldn't find it.
But after that, the horse was out of the barn. And I think
the tweet basically was just like, so I'm looking here and there's a GoFundMe for my restaurant. But oddly enough, I never signed up to have a GoFundMe for my restaurant.
That's the tweet that I found. He was like, what? What is happening here?
Like, what went on? And then, so after that, like, I saw a bunch of like similar tweets from businesses, and then it just kind of became a dumpster fire from there.
And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we have the best intentions, but you're basically using the business and their images and their just everything that you own a business as part of your personality, especially if you're a small business. You own you own a cool bar, a little restaurant, and everything. And you've got somebody like using your business to advertise their altruism, whether it benefits you or not, is really, I think, a bit shallow and short-sighted. And there's just so much wrong with that. Now, let's look at the other side. Hopefully some good comes of it. And these small businesses can use every dollar that they can get right now. But I just hate the way that it was just kind of shoved in their faces. Just really terrible.
It reminds me of the story we did about Grubhub making fake websites for small businesses. Like, it kind of gets people out of money in the same way. It's like both sneaky, both was non-consensual. And I think that's what it comes down to here is consent. Like, when you're having a fundraiser for someone, I'm pretty sure one of the first parts of the criteria is making sure that there's consent to the fundraiser. And it's just so crazy.
You would think
that there wasn't. Like, it's just mind-boggling. Not to mention, like, when I was reading about this, the opt-out process is, like, really fine print and hidden. So not only were people, like, opted in automatically just for existing, but they also made it like really difficult to opt out, and it was like a huge long process instead of just like clicking a check mark.
It could have been such an easy thing, and
yeah,
once again Yelp trips over their shoelaces and steps into the rake, and poof. It's like that Sideshow Bob gif of him stepping on the rake and hitting him in the face over and over again.
Classic.
All right, we don't really have any stats. We'll do one that I just found. Mobile visitors on Yelp, no surprise, is down from Q3 2019. Mobile web unique visitors was 80.59 million, is down to 68.76 million. And that's in 2019 before all this happened. So don't know what's going on over at Yelp. I think people are just getting a little tired of the nonsense. Anyway, all right, that's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.